please welcome Michael Klein, Adobe, Carolyn, Corda, Epsilon, Barry Goldstein, Wyndham Hotel Group, Gordon Ho, Princess Cruises, and founder and CEO Skift, Rafat Ali.
All right, you guys enjoying it so far? Okay, we gotta have some more energy in the room. That was an awesome panel. Everything Skift works for, that was the panel that it all freaking came together. So I'm glad you were there to witness it. This is gonna be an awesome panel. Thank you all for being here. So, very interesting topic that a lot of large companies in travel and a lot of other sectors are facing, which is the problem of, well, the issue of digital transformation. And we're gonna solve in the next 20 minutes. Try to. And so we have a great panel with us. What I'm gonna do is, you guys saw their names, but I'm gonna still go through on the right-hand side. Michael, if you wanna start, just quickly tell what you do, and then we're gonna go through it and then get into it.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michael Klein. I'm the head of industry strategy for retail, travel, and hospitality for Adobe Systems. And my responsibility is the go-to-market. For those of you who saw me last year, I'm a native New Yorker, and I actually graduated from high school a block away from here.
All right.
Good afternoon. I'm Carolyn, Corda, VP of Industry Strategy with Epsilon, a leading provider of marketing services with data, agency, and integration services, and a proud partner of Adobe's.
Hi, everyone. Barry Goldstein with the Wyndham Hotel Group, still the largest hotel company in the world by the number of properties. I'm the Chief Digital and Distribution Officer for the company, responsible for all channels on property and above property.
Hi, Gordon Ho, Head of Global Marketing and North America Sales at Princess Cruises, 18 ships sailing around the world, a great place, great way to vacation.
All right, thank you for being here. So 2 operators, 1 technologist, 1 marketing services, sort of the right mix of people. Both of you, especially you, are going through a huge digital transformation. For those who don't know what digital, like just beyond a buzz phrase, what is going on at Wyndham right now?
So lots of things are going on at Wyndham. I'll start with the concept of digital transformation and the debate that what is it? I'll start with you got to start. And everyone says do digital transformation. And 10 months ago, we said we needed to change everything around the organization, around design, around the customer interaction, around the content, around the experience. And at Wyndham, our goal is to connect with the everyday traveler. And that was something that we set out to really focus on.
Your audience really is everyday traveler.
Our audience is that millennial, it is that middle-class traveler that is growing in size. It is the person who never had access before, as the luxury traveler could have, but now has access, as we're calling it, a digital democracy. They can use their device no different than a luxury traveler. And so we have combined design content together along with data, and we have retransformed our brands. All 16 of our brands relaunched a couple of months ago. At the same time, we built a design strategy around the customer, around our websites, around all the different channels, but we didn't think about it as a channel. We thought about it as touch points around all 3 things intersecting. What does the customer want to do? How do they want to interact? And how do they want to get to us? And then we put all that together and focused on the foundation of content and data and content velocity, because we recognize as that moves forward over the next 10 months, the ability to deliver the information to that everyday traveler at that point in time on any device will be critical. So transformation to us was a redefinition of what we are, who we are, the feel, the look, and then the design behind that from a digital perspective. We expect later on that service and culture will play a big part, but that's transformation to us.
It's not done yet, right? Is it done?
Not by any means. So we are 9 months into the project. This is probably a 2 to 3 year horizon, and then we'll start again.
So, Michael, from a channel-based thinking, which is what a lot of us, or at least people in the travel industry, especially hospitality as an example, are still talking about it. How do you move from channel-based thinking, which is here, to customer first, which is here? And how do you even start thinking about organizational design that even starts from here?
Yeah, so the first thing that comes to my mind is I'm not a very big fan of the term omnichannel. I've been on stage a few times and actually been bold enough to say
Omnichannel Inc. just...
omnichannel is dead.
Well,
that this is business as usual.
There's a company here called Omnichannel Inc. They're trying right now. But
Yeah.
Other than that.
So the idea that your consumer is in a variety of channels, your traveler is on the mobile device, they're on property, they're on the desktop, there's a multiple of channels that are available to them. For me, it's just business as usual, the way we look at it. And I think Barry also talked, or at least indicated this, there needs to be a crawl, walk, run of setting up that organization for transformation. And for us, we definitely believe that setting the foundation of data and content, because at the end of the day, it is about delivering a personalized experience in some way, shape, or form at each of those touch points, whether they be physically in a location, at the airport, or online, that it is about that. And data and content are the two elements that will help you deliver that wonderful experience.
So, Carolyn, in terms of data, and you focus a lot on the data part, where do we start? Like, where do we even start? And what are the data? Sounds great. Big data sounds great.
Big data sounds like a scary word, but there is a way to narrow in on the data that's really creating value. And in terms of thinking about how to create a customer-centric organization, I agree, it really begins with understanding the customers. The clients that we have that have done the best relative to moving along that spectrum in the organization have done the heavy lifting to create a deep understanding of customer needs and preferences. And while there's a lot of data out there, there's also good ways of evaluating what of it is really going to move the dial in terms of applying it to personalization and the customer experience. There's two types of emerging data that we're particularly focused on. It includes customer value, being able to get a really accurate, comprehensive view of what consumers are spending with you and with competing brands. And the other one is on customer mindset, so that we can really do a much better job detecting what their preferences and their interests are and responding appropriately.
So does personalization, when I hear personalization, I hear more emails from your company. That's really what I hear. So Gordon, tell me.
So I think personalization encompasses the gamut of value chain, right? If those emails are personalized and relevant, maybe more emails is good.
By the way, the email that I sent which said, I am looking forward to welcoming you to the Skift Global Forum, I did write it. It went to all of you, and it's amazing how many people emailed back and like personal, and it all came to me, by the way. So
if you look at big data and personalization, what it means, so from a content standpoint, one of the things our team talks about is this concept that Seth Godin has, the purple cow, right? What is our experience or purple cow things that people can't wait to share others, right? It could be some cuisine experience on the ship. It could be something they see on the ship, such as maybe a glacier calving in front of them on one of our Alaska tours. The whole point is that data allows us, because they share it, we get to see what are people sharing, what are they searching on. So these data tools are helping us identify what are those experiences that we want to create, and then, because of solutions provided by Adobe and Epsilon, we then can tailor against the segments. They want to see the glacier calving. This person wants to see our chocolate dessert, which took 3 days to make, and they're the ones that are going to appreciate that. So I think across the value chain of content, marketing, and then, of course, distribution, whether that's email, digital, call center, I mean, that's what we're talking about. What is the preferred touch point the person wants? What's the preferred content that they want? And can we do it in a voice that speaks to you? Email, you made fun of email. Email is still a very personal.
No, email is our lifeblood. I don't make fun of it.
Okay, so I thought you made fun of email. So I'll take that back. We like email too. But even email is a rich environment that is only going to get so much better with all the tools that are available.
Yeah, and the one thing that comes up for me, and so many times the personalization conversation focuses exclusively on the known space or that very explicit information that's been provided to me. Mm-hmm. But now we live in a world that we do have the ability to bring in second and third party data and be able to personalize the anonymous space, not as well, but certainly better than ever before, the unknown space.
Right.
And I think that we're going to see many more advances there of being able to personalize experiences through that implicit as opposed to explicit information.
So I guess personalization is an end result of digital transformation. Is that correct to say?
I wouldn't say it's an end result. I think it's an important outcome that you want to achieve of your transformation. I think you have to think about it also how it pertains to your company. What Gordon wants from a customer relative to making a decision on a cruise, that lead time could be a year out. For me, in my world at Wyndham, we're making decisions at that moment in time. The majority of our travelers are on the road on making that decision on that mobile device. So I think it's an outcome relative to what your company is trying to accomplish relative to the journey of the customer. And I think there are many other outcomes that you're trying to achieve. That is just one of those that obviously helps you compete against a very challenging market when you look at all the ways you can come to a property or a hotel.
But I'll just add to that. I just think that personalization is one of the outcomes of big data. And when we look at advertising and marketing, as we go from masses to individuals, I mean, I think that's what we want to do. How do we create a unique piece of creative for each individual? And then it's like, how is it scalable and how do you have the resources to do that? But I think that's the holy grail that we want to get to, because every individual in this audience has an ideal message or ad or story that they want to hear. It's just for us to figure out what's that match. And can we do it?
I'll take that one step further, that we're continually expanding the spectrum in terms of how we think about the consumer. Airlines have gotten a lot smarter in terms of looking at the trip and embracing a larger portion of the actual trip, and then breaking down into micro moments. All the travel companies are looking more carefully at, for each individual, it could be a different trip and your needs change, and each moment your needs change. And so I think that the journey to customer personalization isn't going to end. It's simply going to get broader, and we're going to get more detailed and specific as we try to achieve that outcome.
And I think companies have to figure out what that segment looks like to you. For example, the everyday traveler, where we started this conversation, travels 2 times a year. And so, yes, they're an important audience for us, but that's very different than our loyalty member who is traveling much more. And so that's a different approach, and you have to really think about that. And we often say, let's personalize everything, but it's very different depending what you're really trying to attract and what you're trying to influence.
And I would add on to that, don't just run out and start doing personalization. It is, again, a crawl, walk, run process, because I think as consumers, travelers, guests, we've all seen it, that bad personalization is worse than no personalization.
Sure.
100%. So in terms of, one of the things that I hear when you say personalization is, oh my God, I need to hire more people. Meaning in terms of being very personal to all of it, is that in terms of, or retrain everyone, especially let's say in your company, the people at the front lines. One end is the technology, the other end is organizational design. How are you thinking about retraining, or how do you think about telling your customers in terms of organizational design? On like who owns it, how does it permeate through the whole organization?
Well, we have 2 customers here. I certainly believe that it often comes from the top in building centers of excellence, and whether that mean a CDO, somebody like Barry, who's in his position and he owns it all, and other folks that we work with in the travel and hospitality industry, where the C-suite has made a conscious decision that transformation will take place, and the organization will go through that, and they will start to build what I call these centers of excellence around the digital transformation. And it will look slightly different on how, because I think that even Gordon's model is a little different than what is at Wyndham, but there has been a awareness from the C-suite that this needs to happen, and it's then being pushed down, but then there's going to have to be adoption from the bottom up.
Yeah, I can build on that. We still, there's still channel experts. You still need to have channel experts, because each of these channels, whether it's a Facebook, Google, all these things, they're all evolving, so you have to stay on top of that. But we've layered on basically a customer journey small team that's really looking at how we all work together. And then it boils down to metrics. Are we accelerating, getting more efficient acquisitions or more profitable acquisitions? And it's all unified, because I go back to storytelling, and I use the term purple cow. For those of you who didn't hear about it, what Seth Godin talks about is this: if you found a purple cow on the road, I grew up in Wisconsin, I saw a lot of cows. but not purple ones. But if I saw a purple cow, you would take a picture and you would share it because it was so amazingly unique. So I think that's the unifying thing for our teams. Despite the fact that it's gotten a lot more complicated, we have partners such as Adobe who are helping us through this, who have these case studies and best practices. But the unifying thing is still the storytelling. It's the guest experience. And when people say, oh my goodness, that's an amazing story, I'm going to take my channel and amplify it. Then we have the customer experience, the guest experience team who makes sure it's all done holistically. Then you have to have, and I learned this from other people, have a test budget because there's going to be so many things you want to try and you need to be able to fund some of these. Make sure you set aside some money to test these things because new things will come up. Otherwise, you'll always be stuck groveling for, can we have some money for this? And
what are you testing now that you're most excited about?
We've done stuff, we're doing a lot of stuff with actually, we're implementing both of these solutions to make sure our audiences are, and the results are phenomenal right now in terms of the ROI we're seeing, in terms of our high value segments. Facebook Live is working great for us that we're enjoying exactly.
What are you doing on Facebook Live?
Just broadcasting a number of our events that we've and we're just lending
from the ships.
From the ships and events where we host events such as a new menu item, so they see us creating a new award-winning hamburger or our new show from Stephen Schwartz. People love to see these kind of things. And then VR. I think Arnold talked about VR.
Yeah.
VR is people. It's hard to sample.
And the cruise industry is big on VR.
It's hard to sample a cruise. For all of you, how many of you have not been on a cruise? See, that's disappointing. I'm sad. But the fact is, getting them to see a cruise, it's hard, right? And so VR is...
We went on our first cruise with the Cuba
Fathom,
cruise.
right.
First time ever.
Right.
Did you have a good 22 out of 25 people had never been on a cruise.
Right. And so VR at least gets you closer to experiencing a cruise. And then, of course, there's nothing like word of mouth. There's nothing like someone like you telling everybody here, if you haven't, that you loved your cruise, right? That's what I need. I need to get people like you to do that. But those are the things that we're all dealing with.
Yeah. Love is we'll talk later.
Yeah.
We did love it. So in terms of one of the things we talked about is every year, I have this, I'm going to read it because it's important. 2 years ago, it was mobile. 2 years ago, it was drones. Last year was bots and IoT turns out Internet of Things. This year it's VR. Turns out it's none of these, it's AR. Where do you stop?
I don't think you could ever stop, right? I think you always have to be very conscious of what is happening relative to new technology. I think where we get in trouble is when we look at technology for technology's sake and we just believe that we have to do VR because Princess Cruises is doing VR or Marriott went out and did VR, that everybody needs to go ahead and do that. I think what we have taken an approach at Wyndham is there needs to be a business solution. It has to be a solution for your business. And in our world, we have many, many franchisees at hotels, and we think about technologies, how do we make it a turnkey for them? How do we use Internet of Things to be able to create a solution on property that allows them to benefit from what we're delivering in terms of technology? There has to be some value to it, and so I think you always have to be conscious, but you can't just decide we're going to roll this out because everybody else is doing it, and I think that's very critical, but you should never stop. Moore's Law has taught us that 18 months is now 6 months, and there will be always something different, and I think it's important for us to really stay conscious of that.
I agree wholeheartedly that it's never going to stop. I had the chance when we were sitting backstage reminiscing a little bit that one of the first visual products Sabre had was called Sabre Vision. And the big question was, would the travel agent want to turn the screen to show the consumer, the traveler, a picture of the hotel? This was 25 years ago. And the fact that they were even debating it had to do with the cost of it and making it a legitimate business solution. But I think what we've seen across the span of time is a testament to consumers' appetite, hunger for the media, for the understanding of that, of the ability to anticipate the experience that imagery is able to deliver.
And I think to follow on to what Barry said is we need to really make sure we ask the hard questions of, are we solving an actual problem, or are we just doing this for the sake of technology? The one thing that comes to mind is operators are still struggling with keyless entry with the mobile phone, right? Yeah. So how many times does it work? How often are you actually going back to the front desk to get the physical key because it didn't work or it wasn't in sync? So those are some of the examples and the hard questions we have to ask ourselves as marketers, as operators in the travel and hospitality industry is this solving an actual problem or enhancing the experience, or are we going and creating more anxiety for our guests and our travelers?
And I think as an industry, we're still trying to get some of what we'll consider old technology right. The fact that you can stream in your hotel room and be able to watch your own Netflix or your own video. And so we're focused on that. Get that right, because that is a big satisfier to customers. And we're doing that with many of our brands, Wingate being one of them, and getting all that right. And then we'll make some of the newer things we're seeing integrate into that.
Never fight customer on Wi-Fi. You will never win.
Yeah.
You will never win that battle. That's the one thing that I've learned in all time. Thank you very much. We're out of time. This was awesome.
Thank you.